Hey everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Today we're going to be doing the front differential fluid in my 2011 F-150 Raptor. This process should apply to pretty much every F-150 of the same generation, probably applies to the newer Raptors as well, at least to some extent. And we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. We're not going to be pulling off the differential cover on the front diff. We're going to be extracting the fluid using what on the box says is a vacuum brake bleeder, but what is really just a pneumatically powered fluid extractor. We're going to be using some 75W 140 gear oil. I believe the factory spec is 75W 90, but because I have my IWEs deleted on this truck, I'm going to run a little bit thicker of an oil that has a little bit better wear resistance. Should wear a little bit better and should last a little bit longer and protect the gears better because with that delete, the front differential is constantly turning when I'm driving. To go with the fluid extractor over here, I have a gear oil specific tube that I use to shove down the differentials and pull the gear oil out. I have it set up to basically attach either directly to this or to a different fluid extractor that I have. So I have that pre-set up and ready to go, and then I have a syringe for new gear oil insertion. So you can't pour from a jug like this just directly into the fill plug of a differential. You have to use some sort of pump or something like that. Normally, in the past, I used to use transfer pumps a long time ago, but those don't always reach down to the bottom of these types of containers. They are a huge pain to clean. You can't really ever get them perfectly clean. Whereas using a big giant syringe like this, you end up being able to clean it all up a lot better, and you don't have to juggle a giant jug of fluid or some sort of other apparatus full of fluid along with a pump, try to pump it all underneath the truck. You can suck fluid into the syringe and just squirt it into the differential. The fluid that comes in bags is also equally as easy as this. It's basically the same kind of concept. So we're going to go ahead, head into the truck, and show you what you need to take off to access the diff, and we're going to start the differential fluid service from there. All right, so step one in doing the diff fluid change is removing the big factory skid plate under here. Now I have an aftermarket front bumper that has a skid plate that reaches down to these points right here. I'm not sure what the factory setup looks like, but all I know is that I have 6 15mm bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hopefully you can see in the back 5 and 6. And I'm gonna need to pull all of those out to drop this skid plate down to get access to that differential. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera since this thing is not the lightest thing in the world. And we're gonna need both hands to support it. And we're gonna go ahead and move on to actually accessing the differential from there. We have the skid plate off now, and we're looking at this from the passenger side of the vehicle. And right here on the passenger side of the front diff, we have easy access to the fill port. Now that's what we're gonna use as both our fill port and our fluid extraction port. And all you need to do is take that out is to take a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, stick the drive end of it in there, and pull it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. Again, I need 2 hands to do it. And then we're gonna move on with the rest of the process. All right, so we're now done with the fluid extraction, but I wanted to show you what the setup looks like just so you can see. You can see we have the tube running to the differential, going down here to the fluid extractor, which then has my air line hooked up to it, and pulled all the fluid out. So that was the last little bit that I had to pull out. I had to empty this out and pulled out another just little bit of fluid that was in the bottom of the diff. But at this point, everything is extracted and we're ready to start refilling. Now that we're ready to fill the differential, I got to get my little filling station prepped. Basically what I have is my syringe, a plastic container that's very clean. I wipe it out with alcohol, and I just keep some little rags to absorb any drops or anything down in the bottom of the tray. And I have them in a little pan to catch any drips or anything like that, in addition to the pan that I have under the truck. So all I do is fill up the plastic dish with diff oil or whatever fluid I'm using whenever I'm filling something. I do this same process for transmissions, transfer cases, anything under the vehicle that needs something to pump fluid in. And now that's full, I've actually emptied this jug because this is the same jug I used to do the rear diff. I'm ready to go underneath the truck and start filling. So all I do is pull fluid out using a syringe and then shove the syringe into whatever I'm filling, in this case the front diff, and fill it full of fluid. So it's a super simple process. It's just a rinse and repeat. I'll show you one iteration of that into the truck, and then it's going to be going from there to fill up the rest of the diff. So let's head into the truck and move forward from there. All right, so this is the best angle I can get under here, but I'm going to show you the diff fill process really quick. So I'm going to just pull some fluid into my syringe, which I'm pretty sure you can't see the full picture of, but that's all right. Gonna tap off any excess. And then fill port's right there. And with the syringe, we'll just go right on up and into there. And inject the fluid in there. And like I said, it's just rinse and repeat from here. So, gonna do the rest of this off camera, and then we'll wrap up the remainder of the project from there. We're now done filling the differential, and fluid basically you fill until it runs out of the fill hole. Once it starts running out, you're good, you're done, it's full, assuming you're on a level surface, which I am. So, last part is putting back in the fill plug. Now, what I like to do is clean out the threads as best I can. I don't know that this fluid in the front diff had ever been changed, because the diff looked like it had been untouched, and the plug looks like it still has some original factory sealant on it. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and I clean the threads out with a pick, put some high temperature thread sealant on here. I like to put it on at 3 different points, just kind of 60 degrees apart on the plug, to make sure that everything stays liquid tight. You could probably get away with some normal pipe thread sealant, but the temperature rating for it's not up to spec for how hot a front differential or any part of a car really is going to get. So wouldn't recommend doing that. Just get yourself some nice little high temp thread sealant. At this point, we're basically ready to put the fill plug back in and torque it to spec and everything. I'll show you that process into the truck, and at that point we're going to be done. I apologize for how dark everything is, but my light's starting to crap out. But now we're down to the torquing of the fill plug. So torque spec is 18 foot-pounds, and I'm just using a 3/8" drive torque wrench. Best way I found to fit it was right through here, and as you can see, we're torqued to spec and good to go on this. Super easy to get in there and doing everything. And now, other than doing a little final wipe down of the differential, our job is done. We got to put the skid plate back on, but I'm going to go and clean mine off because it's covered in some mud and dirt and stuff. So I want to get that cleaned off while I have it off of the truck. Otherwise, job's done. One thing I want to mention before closing out the video is the fact that the 2012 and up, I believe it is, trucks have a torsion front differential, so you're not going to be able to just put in normal differential fluid. I can't remember if it is a special fluid that you have to get from Ford or you just have to do an additive, but it's going to be one of the two for anybody with a 2012 and up truck. So keep that in mind if you do have that torsion front diff. So other than that, pretty simple fluid change, kind of a pain in the butt to get to, and certainly if you're going to pull the front cover off, you can see the power steering rack is right there. There's probably a way to get it off without pulling the rack out, but I didn't want to deal with any of that. So with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.